right now. All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the world's most exciting classroom. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I will be your host for today. And as you probably Galapagos, we're going to be here all week. We have 8 live events that we're going to be broadcasting to classrooms around the world. We're going to go all to Tortuga Bay tomorrow morning, which should be pretty special. We're going to get out into the highlands with the tortoises. So it is going to be a nonstop week of live events. We even have 2 Spanish events, one later today, one on Friday. We're also going to the Charles Darwin Research Station. We'll have Charles Darwin's great-great-granddaughter, Sarah, join us. Many of you know she has joined us in calls in the past, including in Rio de Janeiro, but we'll have her live with us here in the Galapagos. So what we're going to do today is walk around the bay a little bit. So we are on Santa Cruz. It's the most populated island in the Galapagos. We are in Puerto Ayora, and we are down by the public docks. So it is very busy at the public docks. There are ships coming in and out, divers going out, people jumping on little cruise ships where they're going to sail around the islands for a week or so. So there will be a lot of activity with people moving around. And lucky for me today, I have a special guest with us as well. Let me just switch my camera view here, and we'll say hi to Colette. There we go. Hey, Colette, how are you?
Hey, Joe. Good. Everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Colette. I'm a naturalist guide here on the Galapagos Islands, and I'll be happy to answer any questions related to the wildlife or anything that is about what we're going to be seeing around.
All right, excellent. Well, it is low tide here, unfortunately, so it might restrict a little bit the wildlife that we see, but we're going to walk around, Colette, and we're going to try and find as much wildlife as we can.
Yes. Do you want to go this way?
All right. Before we go, though, can you tell us a little bit about where we are in Santa? Can you tell us a little bit about Santa Cruz?
Yes. So this is Santa Cruz Island, and this is the island that is the most inhabited. So this is Puerto Ayora, the largest town that we have around here. We roughly must have about 20,000 people living here. And the place we're specifically visiting is the dock, where all the action goes for all the boats that will be going to the other islands and connecting all the different places that tourists will be visiting around.
All right.
This is the place where the Darwin Station established itself, and that is the reason why this town developed more than the other ones, because first the scientists came, they needed a place to stay and a place to sleep in, and this is how tourism started kind of around this place, around this specific island, and that's why we have the largest town, even though we are not the capital of the Galapagos. The capital is San Cristobal Island.
All right. So I was in San Cristobal yesterday. I sailed on the Oosterskalde from San Cristobal to here, and I believe it's Academy Bay out there.
This is Academy Bay, yes.
Okay, perfect. So throughout the event as well, I was able to do some snorkeling at Kicker Rock. And I'm going to share, I have Jesse behind the scenes, and he's going to help me share some videos of the snorkeling from Kicker Rock as well. So we'll see some of the wildlife that I saw while I was snorkeling. I am going to put my bag on, which means things are going to get shaky for just a second here while I put my bags on. And then we are going to start walking, and we are going to see what we see. And actually, Colette, if you want to come with me first,
yes,
I want to go see those prickly pear cactuses over there. Let's talk about those for a moment.
That's a great idea.
All right. So we'll get some botany in here too, not just the animals.
Okay, so we're gonna get here to the Opuntia cactus. This is a very special cactus because it's not only endemic to Galapagos, but each island has its own different species. And what is fascinating about these is that they have developed as trees because of their main predator, which would be the land iguanas, okay, not as giant as this one in reality, and the giant tortoises. So this is actually a fascinating um, proof of evolution because we have two species growing and developing, like evolving together. The natural selection happening at the same moment that we have two species. Basically, the cactus didn't want to be eaten, so first starts with some really thick thorns. Okay? And these thorns or spikes are going to be all going downwards like a big toothpick, okay, to protect itself. But eventually, the cactus will outgrow and it will become a bark, okay. So in this case, we don't have any. We have quite a few less spines and thorns, but by the end of its growth, we don't have one here, but maybe this one we can see a little bit better the bark. So as they keep on growing, these spikes will all move away, and then we'll have this beautiful bark that comes here. And then actually, you'd be able to hug a cactus. What is fascinating, the cactus change inside. Have land iguanas and giant tortoises, then you'll have taller cactuses because the natural selection made that the smaller ones were eaten away, and then only the taller ones will survive. To the point that we have some islands that don't have any cactuses, any predators, and the cactuses are low-lying shrubs, or some others are actually growing downwards, and instead of spikes, they will have like hair. So it's quite fascinating because this is the life process of evolution happening right in front of your eyes. I don't know if you noticed, Joe, but the cactus, because these are tall and growing upwards. The ones in San Cristobal, just like the perfect tree shape, nice bark, and then just a little kind of round
Yeah.
tub.
And
So
then
it's
the
quite
ones on
fascinating.
that we visited on San Cristobal, these are spiky, but the ones on San Cristobal were more like hair. So
That's right.
you could pet
Yes.
this part. It was very soft
Yes.
and hair like.
And you're pointing at the prickly pear, which is the favorite food of the giant tortoises as well as the land iguanas.
Okay.
So on the smaller islands, this would be easier to reach. But on the islands with more tortoises, what would happen is that the natural selection will make that only the ones with the longer neck will reach up to these cactuses, and hence the natural selection made it that on those islands, our tortoises have longer limbs, longer neck, and the front of the shell is slightly higher to really reach out for a wider range of food from on the floor to the highest cactuses. So that's why we have these different species. Yeah.
And then these different shapes here. So we see a few of them growing off here. Are these fruits? What are the different shapes here?
So this one is a prickly pear fruit.
Yep.
Yes. So this is the favorite, juiciest part of the cactus. This is where we will have the flower blooming, and also we have the cactus finch that is quite common to find around here.
Yeah.
I just heard one of
I
them.
did see
Let's
one
take a
buzz
look at
by.
the
Sure.
flower.
Let's.
Take
Oh,
a look
perfect.
at that flower.
Yep.
Beautiful. So we have the cactus finch. So this beautiful cactus flower is the one that will be pollinated by the cactus finch, which is part of the Darwin finches. So this one has developed like a long, deep beak to get all the way into the cactus flower.
Okay. Well, if we're ready, let's move away from the traffic and let's go back to the dock where it'll be a little quieter.
Okay.
So, Jesse, I know we have you queued up there. So, we're going to play maybe a little video clip here. So, I want to mix in some video clips from the the snorkeling at Kicker Rock. So, Jesse, why don't you cue up the first clip? Let's look at the cow nose rays in the bay.
Will do, Joe, as we're heading along here. So exciting to have the chance to feature quite a few little videos of what you captured in your first few days in the Galapagos. So let me cue up our cow nose rays, guys, and we will bring this up for everyone in just a second. All right. We're already getting questions on YouTube and Facebook, by the way, about how the tortoises eat the thorns. If you'd like to answer that while I get this up for everybody.
Sure. Colleen, so we have a question here. Students wondering about how the tortoises can eat those thorns, those spikes.
Oh, well, that's a really good question, and I wondered the same myself. So basically, the tortoises have kind of a beak So it will be really breaking, but probably I understand that they don't care about the spikes and they will just go through it. Obviously, they will go which are softer, but obviously is the idea. The cactus won't let itself be eaten. That's a scientist question.
All right. So we do have that video queued up. Let's take a look at this group of cow-nose rays. So here, Colette, these were some cow-nose rays that I saw in the lagoon.
Yes, fantastic. And these are commonly found around here at the dock too. But right now we have low tide this morning, so there is a little bit less. A lot of times in the evening when the sun sets, they will have some light here.
Yep.
And you will have this place swimming with activity with the rays and turtles and baby sharks swimming all around this dock here. So those are quite amazing to watch.
All right, we're going to have to come out then at night one night and do a little recording.
Definitely.
Oh, there, I see a little hair in there down in the... Maybe we can get a little bit, if we go over there, maybe we can get a little closer to this heron, or I can try and zoom. Whoops.
Sorry, I'm missing it.
Yeah, you see, just on the rock.
Lava heron, small one.
It's a small one, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, there's kind of the rocks in the middle of the water there. Maybe we'll get a little bit closer. We can get a better view for the classroom.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, let's see if we can get a little closer. We got to take advantage of all the wildlife we can find. This actually, no, let's get this guy before he leaves.
Yes.
This is good timing.
Okay.
Stay with us, pelican. All right, who do we have here, Colette?
So this is the brown pelican, a natural resident of the Galapagos Islands, but not endemic. You know, most of the marine birds can cover long distances and will be able to travel. We have a large colony actually nesting on this island in the famous Pelican Bay.
Okay.
That is just a few minutes away from here. And in this case, we have a beautiful adult in its full breeding plumage with a beautiful kind of yellow and white. And usually they will also get a little bit of a brownish kind of golden leaf. I'm losing my words. Feathers on the back.
Yep.
And this pelican is here waiting for the small fish, and he might eventually just dive down. And this is one of the few species of pelicans that actually dives all the way down to grab the fish. Now, an interesting sight we need to keep an eye on. I don't know if you saw, but there was a tiny little bird that just came and flew.
Yeah.
This is a brown noddy.
Okay.
And the brown noddy usually always goes with the pelican. When the pelican dives in, the brown noddy will come and land on the head of the pelican, trying to grab any of the small fish that may be sticking out of the pelican's bill.
All right. We'll keep our fingers crossed we get to catch that. But let's, now that we got this guy nice and close, let's see if our heron, our heron's still on the rocks.
Okay.
Maybe we should go over and, actually there's a sea lion down at the end too. Let's go down there. Okay.
Plus the light is better the opposite way.
Okay.
So I probably focus on this side first.
Sounds good.
Yes.
We're going to make our way. This is the public docks, right? A lot of people coming in and out here.
What about marine iguanas and crabs here?
Oh, yeah, we got a marine iguana down there.
There is one here, but this one is
two of them.
Look at this one.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
because
shot.
There's more contrast.
Yeah.
So these are the marine iguanas. This is the unique and very like the emblematic of the Galapagos because this is an endemic species. We got a shark. We got a shark coming in. There's baby sharks going all around. So it's actually quite confusing because there's always a lot of things going on and you don't know where to focus because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
But let's focus on the marine iguana here feeding. And so basically these iguanas are the only seagoing lizards in the world and they're endemic to the Galapagos. And they have changed so much in also their feet, their body because they're adapted to going into the water, swimming and diving underwater to catch the algae and to graze on the algae underwater. Now, basically, a lot of the smaller iguanas will take advantage of the low tide because then they don't need to go into the cooler waters. Remember that these are reptiles, so their body temperature will vary according to the environment. Most of the days, iguanas will wake up and just lay in the sun until they recharge the battery, let's say, and then they can be active. But the smaller ones, having less body surface, it's a little more challenging to go into the water. They cool down much faster.
Yeah.
So most of them will take advantage of the low tide uncovered rocks, meaning lots of algae easily accessible everywhere.
Yeah,
for
you can probably
them
see the green
to
on the
live.
rocks just out
Now,
there.
the green is not what they will feed on. Now, this is quite important that the marine iguanas have specialized in one kind of algae, and they can only digest that one kind of algae, which is challenging for years like this one. We have kind of a Nino year with much warmer waters, meaning that these kind of algae will not grow around, and then a lot of these iguanas will be struggling finding food, and most of them will be quite skinny or might not even make it through that year.
Okay. And then can you tell us a bit about how they get rid of the extra salt from their bodies?
Oh yeah, this is quite fascinating. So usually these iguanas are getting big bites of the algae. They grasp the algae of the rocks, but also in each bite there is a lot of water that is being swallowed. So they have a little gland that is connected to the nostrils by which they will excrete the salt. And it looks like they will be spitting at you. So it's quite impressive when you see them. It's like but actually it's sneezing.
Yeah.
So this gland is connected to the nostrils, and that's how they will repel the salt away. We have the crabs.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice red
These
Sally
are
Lightfoot.
Sally Lightfoot crabs, and crabs usually live in the same area as the iguanas because the crabs are feeding on the intertidal, in the intertidal area, mostly feeding on the algae as the iguanas. Now the crabs will vary a lot in color because they are eaten by the herons that you just mentioned. So we'll see herons, but there's a few more crabs there, and they will all vary in color. They're all the same species, but the little baby ones will be completely black to blend in and camouflage themselves from the predators. As they keep on growing, they will shed to these harder shells that now they can afford bright colors to just be seen by the others. So we'll have from black tiny ones to bright orange ones, the largest that we have.
All right, so we're off to a good start. We've had the pelican, we've had marine iguanas, the Sally Lightfoot crabs. Let's start making our way down the dock. Jesse, if you want to pull up another video, let's look at the green sea turtle one, and let's talk about green sea turtles for a minute as we make our way down the dock.
So more iguanas down there.
Oh yeah, we have a couple more iguanas down there. You can see two of them getting washed over by the waves.
So this is another adaptation that they have, is that they have these really long fingers with a good claws to actually hold on to the rocks, because most of the iguanas will feed in the swell areas.
Yep.
Why is that? Is because there's more oxygen, so there will be more algae growth.
Okay.
So this means that they have to really anchor themselves onto the rocks.
Yeah, you can see them really holding on.
Yeah. By the movement of the sea.
Okay, so speaking of other creatures that like the green stuff, yesterday when I was snorkeling, we saw some green sea turtles. So Jesse's going to cue up the video for us, and we'll get to take a little look here.
Got a great shot there. The green sea turtles is the only species that we find in the Galapagos Island, and we have a resident population that is being monitored every year. And I'm not sure about the numbers right now. I'm a little outdated, but I think we may have about 4,000 individual females that are tagged, because turtles always come back to the same beach they were born in to lay their eggs. So this is why also it's so important to protect areas like this one, because by protecting this area, you're also protecting the species.
Yep.
And this is a long-lived species that may live over 100 years. So if you don't protect that beach for over centuries, then you're going to get trouble because the baby turtles won't be able to be born.
So 7 species of sea turtles in the world, but only the green in the Galapagos.
Yes, we have a few records of the other ones coming by, but the only resident we will say will be this one. Now, resident is a rough word also, because these turtles can travel for up to 2 years out in the Pacific.
Yeah.
That's the usual average time until they come back for nesting and laying more eggs.
Okay. In the distance, I can see there's quite a bit of swell today. The Oosterskalde is out there. We'll look at the end of the dock. It is rocking like crazy, but I see some sea lions, some Galapagos sea lions. So let's go visit these Galapagos sea lions on the end.
We have the pelican there.
Another pelican up there.
Oh, we have a few bluegill also. So
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, maybe want to land.
Diving in. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we need to remember first that the national park regulations ask us to stay 6 feet away from animals.
Yep.
That's about 2 meters. And this is why also the animals kind of stay there because they know we're respectful. Obviously, they were the first ones to be here. So we have to remember also as humans that we are the ones coming to their world. So you gotta be respectful. We have a fantastic male here. This family has established in this area and we see him every single night.
Okay.
So we have a male, we have a female, and we have a pup. And that pup also, we were quite worried about it because the mom left for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Okay. So he was getting really skinny and we were really concerned about it. You want to turn around maybe a little bit that way so you have a better angle to see them.
Go around.
This
Okay.
way. So you can have a really good at them. But you can see that the little puppy is still a bit skinny. You can see the ribs and the bones there. So he's just recovering because Mama finally made it and is nursing. Okay, these are the only mammals that we have really in the Galapagos. So they are the Galapagos sea lions. They came originally from California. And now they're residents in the Galapagos and now they're considered a different species that is endemic to Galapagos. I think they're a little smaller than
they are the smallest I read.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, and if you want to turn around, then you get the whole family. If you go around that way, you
beautiful.
A good angle. Now, these sea lions, they usually live in colonies. This is not the perfect family like we would consider as humans. Okay. Yeah. This sea lion happens to be here. The male usually protects a territory, and then as many females that want to come to this area will kind of hang out with him. But what the male is offering is protection for the babies mostly.
Okay.
Protection for the babies because the moms will be out fishing for even a few days or even a couple of weeks in this case. And she finally came back, so we were all worried about it because as you notice, maybe this one is tagged, so we can recognize her easily.
Yeah, you can see that tag on the flipper.
We even had the baby that was tagged for a little while, okay, to see how far they go and to see their movement. In this case, there is no satellite tag. It's just like a number, like an ID tag.
Jesse, why don't we, before we talk more about sea lions, why don't we queue up another video? I think you have a sea lion video swimming with the sea lions, who are a ton of fun in the water. They love to play. They love to blow bubbles, bite at your fins. When you're in the water with the sea lions, it's a lot of fun. So we'll get Jesse to cue that up behind the scenes as we look at our family here, snoozing on the public dock. Very cool. You can see that bright orange tag. And here comes the video. So yesterday we did, I guess it was 2 days ago now, we were swimming with the sea lions.
Yes, the sea lions are one of the most, because they're so playfully pleased until they come to your mask and then blow bubbles at your face. It's so much fun. They're very curious about us and they love having play buddies.
Yeah.
So the more you move around, the more they'll go around you and play around, like you can see in the video. I'm sure they were just chasing you, or not chasing you, but just playing.
Exactly. And if you blow bubbles, if you start doing somersaults, that gets them even more excited.
Exactly. So they'll continue. The more active you are in the water, the more they'll follow you around.
Yeah. It was funny. We were just waiting at the dock to get on the Oosterscalde and to sail here to Puerto Ayora. Oh, did we get something?
We're going to get some.
Sure. And the sea lion found a paint roller. A paint roller in the water, and the two of them were playing with a paint roller, which was pretty funny. Oh, there goes the pelican taking off.
So the pelican is actively fishing right now.
Yeah.
The brown nuddies are
the smaller birds.
It.
Yeah, I can see the smaller birds following.
Come back this way. It's just turning around.
Yeah.
And it just was landing in this area, so it may just come back.
All right.
To the same spot. Get yourself ready to this area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like checking out. Hopefully it will go down.
It is cool to see the behavior, though. The brown noddy following the pelican.
Exactly.
And waiting to see if it can get something.
Let's see.
Yeah.
You're patient. We have another sea lion here sleeping.
We do in the
meantime.
corner.
So sea lions are most active during the day.
Yep.
So right now they're sleeping, and you will see that if you come back in the evening, you'll see quite a few more sea lions that use this place as their bedroom. Okay?
We're definitely going to have
Okay,
to come and catch a
one-
little footage.
This one might be getting ready to land.
Oh, he's going to land.
The groundnut is like,
yeah.
Disappointed to us. Just disappointed.
There's some people heading out for the day.
So that's
busy spot here.
The yellow car, the yellow boats that you have there are water taxis.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a way to access all the different areas, all the different boats that we have in the area. And let's take a look at this side. Maybe some activity around here. Plastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely worth touching on.
Yep. So not much going on this side. Well, we do have a few frigate birds that are flying.
You can see them a bit higher in the sky.
I was trying to see if we could find
there is one landed over there, a frigate bird, a little bit up there.
Yes. And let's take a look at this cliff. Can you see that we have some of the cactuses? So we have two different species here. We have the prickly pear cactus there with a nice bark. I don't know if you can zoom in, but we have another kind of cactus that is called the candelabra cactus. That one is native to the islands. Okay, here we go. Frigate bird coming
There's
around.
one up there.
I don't know if you can see it. It's probably going to come our way. Frigate birds are known as the pirates of the air because they lack the waterproof oil on their feathers. So they actually cannot dive like most seabirds will do. So how they will catch their fish will be just by catching it right at the surface, only having the beak touching the water and catching the fish. That will be the most common way for them to feed. But also, we call them pirates of the air because around the colonies where you have other kinds of birds, they will be chasing these birds that are coming back home to feed their chicks, and they will peck at their necks, forcing them to regurgitate the food that they were bringing to their young ones, and then catching it in the air. And the most fun is when they miss on that one and another frigate bird gets it, another one, and it might eventually land in the water, and it's a pelican that gets it, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to point out while we're here as well, it's a little bit in the distance for the classrooms, but there's two tall ships out there. There's one on the right, but the one in the middle that you might be able to see is the Scalde. It's rocking like crazy in the swell right now, so they're getting a little ride on board. They're probably wishing they were anchored a little tighter, but if you look, it's right straight in the middle is the Scalde. On the right is a different tall ship, but the Scalde is moored right there, anchored right in the middle. So if we look down here, we can see some of those human impacts. We can see an Oreo cookie wrapper, bits and pieces of plastic. Sleep 25,000 people.
Yes, roughly about 25,000 people. Now, most of the plastics that we see here also may be coming with a different currents, so we cannot blame everything on the local population. Yeah. But one of the big challenges that we're working with in Galapagos is to be as plastic free as possible. Yep. So, for example, there is a ban on plastic bottles or on plastic bags. You cannot have those. Plastic containers that are disposable ones are not permitted on the island. So we try to reduce as much as we can the plastic use that we have to avoid this, because this contamination, the plastic, also will be a big challenge for the animals. For example, yesterday on San Cristobal, I witnessed the vets taking and removing a plastic ring around a sea lion neck. So this is why it's so important that we reduce and we just take care more of our oceans, because, for example, the sea turtles, they will confuse plastic bags with jellyfish, and then they will be swallowing this, and this will be really challenging for them because they will die. Lots of birds and everything. Look at
we got to take a look at the male. He's showing off. Well, he's going to the bathroom too, but he's showing off a little bit as well. So how heavy can they get? I've heard like 400 pounds.
Yes, that's about the size that they will get, the weight that they will get. Only the males. As you can see, there is a big difference in size in the male and female.
Absolutely.
And the males will continue growing throughout their life, and they're like building up, like storing more and more fat, because these males, while they're normally taking care of a colony, they can't go away because another male will kind of come and just take over. So basically, these males, depending on their size, will take care of an area of a colony from a couple of weeks to about 3 months, depending on how much fats they have stored, and so how long they can stay without eating. And also, they continue developing this kind of like bump on the forehead. This
Yep.
is the sagittal crest. This is where you have all the muscles for the jaw muscles. So these guys can rip off a tuna in 5 minutes.
Wow.
It's quite impressive. Yeah. And basically, when they're not in actively protecting a colony, they usually will go and hang out as bachelors.
Yep.
And we have some bachelor colonies where all the males kind of hang out together, recovering from all this work at the at protecting a territory.
Yeah.
And also going out on fishing trips, maybe just like, hanging out with the guys and going out for beers and fishing. No, obviously not. But look at him. He's just like waking up and kind of taking it easy. Actually, this one, I don't think we can consider kind of just careful. Ooh,
Oh, pelican just dove, yeah.
pelican.
Under the dock, though, that would have been hard to catch.
I don't know, Joe, if you
Yeah.
can hear, but the baby is
Oh, yeah, the baby's
nursing.
doing a little nursing here.
See.
Oh, we may have heard. Oh, that male just took a big plunge off the
Oh my
dock. Let's
God,
see.
we
That was a
missed
big
it.
drop.
Wow, so this is quite impressive, and you would
Just
wonder
a
how
splash
can
left
they
over.
jump
Yeah.
that high. This is absolutely no problem for them. We have the male colonies are usually in remote areas that are not really accessible, and so they will have to climb up cliffs and areas, and
There's a
they
blue-footed
will
booby.
have no problem. Let's take a look. Is that blue-footed booby is coming back this way, so we may get a bit of action. It's gonna come back probably around here. The brown nutty is getting
Yeah.
active.
No,
The
flew off.
blue-footed booby is kind of turning around.
Yeah. So, Jesse, while we're walking to another spot to see what we see, 2 days ago, I got to see some beautiful sharks, which are pretty emblematic of the Galapagos. So, Jesse, if you want to play the hammerheads first, we'll give you a moment to get that loaded up as we explore around as well to see if there's any more action.
Pelican, the colors in its feathers will indicate that it's a juvenile, all the same color all the way through the body, different as the one we saw earlier with a beautiful white neck.
Okay, here comes Colette, a little hammerhead video. So out at Kicker Rock, we got to see the hammerheads. Just loading. There we go.
Oh wow, you're so lucky. Yes, so we have hammerheads is one of the most common sharks that we have in the Galapagos Islands. It's considered a tropical shark. We have the perfect conditions with some pretty rough currents, and that's where they like to be because they would gather up in colonies or in groups in currents and just kind of hang out. One of the best places to see them is the one that you just did. Oh my God, how many did you see?
Oh, I did say at least a
Wow.
dozen.
At least a dozen. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was a bit murky, so it was difficult to tell. But if you went down a little bit, it got a little bit better. And there's that pelican brown naughty couple still circling around the dock looking for some food. All right, we're getting close to maybe where we'll think about wrapping up, but let's finish this walk of the oh, there's the baby feeding again. The pup. You might be able to hear the little kissy sounds. Of the pup there feeding with its mom. Very, very cool. All right, we will be wrapping up shortly. So if there are any questions out there, use the chat sidebar. Send us in some questions because we are going to wrap up this morning's event shortly. Oh, a blue heron just landed on the rocks over there. There goes another frigate bird. Pirate of the sky. Yeah, let's see if we can get a little bit closer. Yeah. There we go. The baby's having a good feed now. How are you? All right, let's see if we can see this. Oh, so if you look on the rocks there, we're going to try and get a little bit closer. There is a blue heron. So let's see if we can get a little bit closer. All right. So if you look on these rocks here, on the green part of the rocks, you'll see the blue heron's landed. It's looking in the water, so it's waiting to see if anything's going to come close enough.
Yeah, so we basically have 3 heron species in the Galapagos. The smallest one is about a foot tall.
Yeah.
It's called the lamb. Then this one, the great blue heron, that is found pretty much all over the world, that adapts to all different kinds of environments.
Yep.
Now you can see that it's
Thinking about
on a hunting mode. So just going really slowly, typical of the heron way of fishing or catching anything, staying motionless in one area, kind of folding the neck a little bit, and then eventually it will kind of like stretch and fish. Smaller herons, they will feed on the small crabs, but this one is like could be feeding on the crabs, but it will be just too much work.
Right.
Because the shells are like bright orange and really hard to punch. So
yeah,
that's why the crabs are like completely safe now.
Yep.
They will feed on little lizards, on baby iguanas, baby turtles, pretty much anything that they can find. This is a bird that adapts pretty much to any kind of diet. Let's see. No, okay. All over the world, no? So you can see them in different environments.
All right. Well, good luck to our heron friend. Hopefully they're able to grab a fish.
We have the iguanas here if you want to finish with them.
Should we finish with the iguanas? Oh, there we go. We got a nice group of 3 down here on the rocks. Oh, 4. Yep, there's another one there. How long can they last in the water before they get too cold?
Okay, so these iguanas, depending on the size, really, because the bigger they are, the longer they will be able to stay because they accumulate the heat. And basically, according to Darwin, maybe up to an hour, because he did an experiment grabbing one of these iguanas, throwing it into the water with a rock attached to it. Obviously, back in those days, science was
different
like
science, different experiments.
Science, this is the way. Pulled it up after 5 minutes, still alive, and kept doing this. And after half an hour, he kind of got bored of it and kind of forgot about it. And then by the time it pulled it up, it was like an hour. So obviously, this would be in the most challenging conditions.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we will be talking about like when they're out feeding, maybe half an hour to an hour in the water, but actively going underwater, that's another story. They probably can stay up to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Something like that. So they will be swimming along the surface with the limbs along the body, and they have a flattened tail down the sides. So they kind of have the same snake movement to allow them to swim at the surface, and eventually they'll dive down, hold on to those algae, and start grazing on them. That's
right.
what they will do.
Well, let's take one last look here at Academy Bay. It's a little quiet right now. A lot of groups have gone out already, but it's going to be busy kind of all day long with people coming in and out and exploring. Let me switch my camera view one more time here. All right, camera, there we go. All right. Well, Colette, let me grab you in here one more time. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Maybe as we wrap up, just tell us a little bit more about being a naturalist in the Galapagos.
What do you mean?
Well, what's it's not something anybody can just come and be a naturalist,
Yes.
right?
Well, first the Galapagos created a special law in 1998 that anybody that had been living there prior to that date became a permanent resident. This was a way to protect the local people from getting jobs because a lot of people were coming in from the mainland. Basically, today, if you were not there before that law, you cannot come and live on the Galapagos Islands. Even Ecuadorians cannot live here. They cannot move in freely unless they have a specific contract and they will stay for that length.
Yep.
So it's a very exclusive place. You can only come and stay up to 60 days. And to become a guide, obviously, you would have to be first a resident and then you would have to do a few studies. In my case, I was world schooled. So I stopped school at 15 years old. And I was determined. I wanted to become a guide since I was 12 years old. And here I am today, 25 years later, being with you.
Awesome. 2 quick questions in the chat. The first one is Ayora. What does Puerto Ayora? What does that mean?
Puerto Ayora. So basically, we have 4 ports in Galapagos, and they're all named after former presidents of Ecuador.
Okay, there we go. And then we saw the hammerheads. Jesse, I'm going to get you to share the reef tips in a second. But Mr. Prezzo's class is wondering if there's tiger sharks in the Galapagos.
Yes, actually, I saw one a couple of days ago. So we
lucky.
have some tiger sharks. They're mostly on this island. They're mostly on the opposite side. Right now, we're on the southern tip, on the southern side of Santa Cruz, and on the northern side there is a canal in between Baltra airports where the airport is located.
Yep.
And in that canal, we were crossing with a ferry and we saw 3 tiger sharks, and I actually recorded them, so I'll be able to share that recording with you.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
But the thing is that in that area we have lots of turtles nesting, so that's probably what will attract them. That's a nice crunchy Oreo cookie, hard in the middle.
You might hear that sea lion barking in the background.
Big male that is probably coming back. There we go. Let's finish with this one.
Go over and maybe see it in the water. Let me switch my camera. Bad timing on the camera switch.
And the sea lion just came back up. So he just went for a swim after waking up, and he's going to probably just come back up. So
sure. Let's wrap up with our friend there on the water. Jesse, as we make our way over, do you want to play the white tip reef sharks? And then we'll probably sign off for the day. Oh, there we go.
Record this. So that was for him.
Yeah.
Nice little one.
Jesse, maybe stop the video. Oh, no, looks like he's going to have a rest. Never mind. We thought he was going to come right up the dock, but he decided he's just going to block the way.
He'll have to come up.
Yeah. All right, we'll give it a second, see if he comes up. So we just played a little video. We were in the lagoon, and there was about, I'd say, 15 to 20 white tip reef sharks laying along the bottom. So they're pretty common in the Galapagos.
They're very common. We call them tintoreras, and they're really pretty much everywhere. The thing is that these sharks are from the family of the nurse sharks and all. The sharks that can oxygen intake. So that's why they're quite common in nice protected areas, because they're sleeping during the daytime and they will be active at night.
So we're not going to check his passport. We're just going to let him come on up.
He's going to probably go back to that area or just
or just flop down right there. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good spot to end it off. Colette, thank you so much for being with us today. You shared so much knowledge with us. We're going to steal you for some later events, especially Tortuga Bay tomorrow, which will be a lot of fun.
Thank you everyone for watching.
All right, a shout out to our classrooms. We will see you. Go to worldsmostexcitingclassroom.com to find all the rest of the events coming up. But for now, we're going to sign off as our male makes his way down the dock. Thank you so much, everybody. We're going to sign off for now.